Hello, my loyal subscribers. Today we're going to be finishing up the user interface that we have built. Now, we are going to be finishing the build, and then we're going to be jumping up in the next video with the very interesting part. By finishing up, what I mean is that today we're going to be doing the following. Don't comment and comment buttons, unfollow and follow buttons, and the connect. When I click the don't comment, obviously I want to make it green, change the text. The same thing is going to happen with this button, and then connect. We have 4 pieces of information. We're having should I comment, should I follow, and of course the username and the password. Our responsibility for today's video is to actually collect everything that we can and prepare to forward them to the script. Good. Now, first, what's very important is that the way that we're going to do it is when we're typing a button, when we're creating a button, this button has a property here saying command. Command is probably most of you know, but for the people who are not familiar with it, command means what kind of a function do I want to perform once I press the button. And once I press the comment button, I'm going to do one function. Once I press the follow button, obviously I'm going to do a different function because we're going to be changing different things. One very important thing is that Python interpreter does the following thing. We're going from the beginning. So here, as you can see, we're creating the root, we're creating the canvas, we're creating all of the shenanigans here with the columns and rows and everything as well. But if I write command here and command, I don't know, some random function, and then I define the function down here below the main loop, this is going to be a problem because the Python interpreter has come here and he doesn't know if this command is going to exist. In fact, I'm just going to show you real quick. So this command is going to be equal to testing, just testing. And here I'm going to write a function, def testing, and I'm going to just print test. Now, this is going to be, we click here, and it's going to say testing is not defined. When I run the interpreter, it's not going to be defined because obviously we have started from top to bottom, and I do not know if this really exists. If, however, I take the same function and put it right over here below the grid, or in fact, better, take it and put it before I create the canvas at all, you're going to see that this now is existing and it doesn't have any problems. So just something to keep in mind. One more thing that we should be talking about, but I guess I will be talking about once I actually start to create the functions, are the global variables, because every variable has a scope, but I'm going to explain this once again. I think I do have a very nice explanation for it because it's very clearly, you can see it very clearly with the windows. Now, before I do actually explain that, let's go and take the comment pressed function. So this is going to be the function which is going to be called when we are pressing the comment button. Obviously, the function is going to be called, okay. There was a slight problem here. Let me just try again. And here we're going to be writing the comment button is pressed, and we're going to go with comment pressed. Before I actually explain the function, first I need to say when the function is going to be played. And this is going to be when we're pressing on the comment button. So here I'm going to say command is going to be equal to comment pressed, and IntelliSense did a very great job to tell me the function name here. Good. Now, here you can see global comment clicked. I am actually going to go and create the variable here really quick, and I'm actually going to say variables, put it below that. Here we're saying global comment clicked. Now, the problem with global and not global is the fact that if I do not change it to global here, I'm not going to be able to change it through the function. I'm going to explain you why. I'm going to use this very dark scale to explain why, and I'm going to go with yellow because I think that you can see it very well. Let's say that this is function number 1. Now, I can just type here function 1. This is going to be function 1. This here is going to be function 2. So let's use function 2. And this over here is going to be function 3. Function 3. All of these functions have so-called local variables, meaning that if I define in the function 1, let's say user is going to be equal to 3, If I define user is going to be equal to 3, I cannot change it. Okay, I wanted to move it, but it doesn't matter. Here in function 2, I can define user going to be equal to 5. This, and of course in function 3, I can write user going to be equal to 3,000. Now, this thing over here doesn't change the user in function 1. And in function 3, if I change the user to something else, doesn't change this user in function 2. Why is this happening? Well, because function 2 has its own call stack, it has its own things in computer memory, and this is called locally to the complete function. When we're calling function, we have quite a lot of stuff that are happening, but most importantly, and if we're actually using threads, they still have their own call stack, but that doesn't matter now. It means that this user here is locally, the function 1 doesn't know about the user in function 2. The function 2 doesn't know about the user in function 1, so they cannot change it. When you create user 5, this is pointing to a different memory cell, and obviously I can put whatever I want, it's not going to change this value. If I want, however, to change something, and it's very bad that I actually removed everything, but if I want to change something, again, we're going to be having the function 1 with, let's say, user is going to be equal to, I don't know, 300. Here we're going to have function 2 with user going to be equal to 500. And here I'm going to be having function 3 with user is going to be equal to 1000. Now this is great, but if I say before all of the functions that I'm going to have a user, right? And I explicitly say that in every function, I'm going to use global user. This means that I'm changing this variable over here. Now, the functions have their own things, right? They can use their own things. But now I say global here, and global here, and global here. As you can see, I've written it down over there. It means that we're not going to change some random memory cell. Instead, we're going to go and we're going to change this specific memory cell. And this is what makes it global. Each and every one of these functions is actually pointing to a same memory block. And when I change this to 300, this becomes 300. Here I change to 5, this is becoming 500. And here I change to 1000, this is going to become 1000. This is how we send data to another script, to another file with global variables. So this is something very important to keep in mind. Now I'm going to say global comment click here because, as I said, I want to change this variable. I do not want to change something internally to the function. And I'm going to do the following. Since I click it the first time, it's always going to be false because we're always starting, if you can see here, we're always starting the user interface with red colors. Now it's changing, right? But because I've written the function, and this is not going to be changing because I haven't done anything to it. So let's explain how it's working. I'm going to start again, and you're going to see the following. First of all, I start being false, right? When I click it, I'm actually coming here, and I'm ending in this if. I'm ending in this if, and I'm saying if not false, meaning that I'm going to say this is going to be true because it's going to say minus minus, false and false. This is something a bit more specific. Do not worry about that for the moment. We're going to be explaining it later. And here I'm going to configure the button. Now, the first time that I'm actually pressing it, I'm going to make the background green. I'm going to set the text to comment, and I'm going to make this very important here. I'm going to go with red. I'm going to say comment clicked is going to be equal to true. This is very important. Now, that is why you're actually seeing the color over here becoming green and the text changed, because we're actually doing that. The second time, however, I'm not going to end up in this if, right? Because I have already clicked it and it's already true. I'm going to end in the else, and that is how you're going to see coming back with don't comment and the background being red. So this allows me to click it once, become green and change to comment, as you can see over here, and click it once again, becoming red and don't comment. This is very important because, again, we're using a global variable. This can work without a global variable, but I need the global one to send information to the Instagram script that we're going to be using, because the Instagram script is going to need to know, do you want me to comment or not, right? It's going to have a list with different comments and it's going to comment, but only if this button is pressed. All right, the same thing is going to happen for the follow button. Now we're going to go definition follow pressed. I'm going to place it right over here. This is going to be the following button. The following button, should be triggering this function, meaning that I should find it first. This is the follow button here. And what should I do? Obviously, I should type in the command. The command is going to be follow pressed. And again, IntelliSense did a great job saying what I want, because obviously I have defined it before the canvas. Good. Now follow pressed is going to do the following thing. It's going to have a following clicked. The following clicked again is going to be equal to false. False, because again we're starting with a red color. We do not want to follow the people unless we explicitly say that we want to be following. It's going to do absolutely the same thing. Nothing is changing here, nothing new, nothing fancy. I'm checking if I have pressed it before. Obviously I have not. That's why I'm going to be making the background green. So here you can see follow button configure, background green. I'm going to say text is going to be equal to follow people, and I'm going to denote the fact that I have actually pressed it by saying that following clicked is going to be equal to true. If I press this again, since this is going to be to true, right, this if is not going to work out, and I'm going to end up in this else. So I'm going to make the background red, and I'm going to change the text to unfollow people. Control S, run the script, and let's see if this is going to be working. Comment, uncomment, and follow, unfollow. Great, it's actually working. It's actually working pretty nice. The last thing that we want to do is to be able to press connect. Connect is going to be a bit more difficult. Connect has a couple of things that we need to worry about. First of all, when we press connect, I'm not going to be able to press it again, meaning comment and uncomment, I can press them as long as I want, as much as I want. And same goes with the follow button. But once I actually type connect, I'm going to go to the script, open the URL, the Google, and just start doing work. Meaning that connect is like one-time deal, right? I'm going to take this information, both of these, which are going to be these variables over here, and I'm just going to forward them to the server. In a way, you can say that we're going to be forwarding them to the server. Good. Now we're going to be typing the connect, and this is this button over here. Where is it? Connect button. Okay, good. We do not have a command, so let's just go and create it. Boom. Copy that, and here I'm just going to say connect button is pressed. Good. Now I'm going to remove everything that we're not going to be using, and here I'm just going to do that. And connect button, as I said, let's open it up. Connect button is going to have the responsibility to send data. In order for me to send data, first of all, I need to declare that connected and following clicked are going to be global. Following clicked, and actually it should not be connected, it should be comment, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter here. Now, I can either type that or I can just send them here, because as you can see, they are global, and I do have, meaning that I shouldn't even be worrying about this at the moment. Good. Now, when I press connect, I'm going to be starting with a connected state. So here's connected is going to be equal to false. I'm going to be starting with a connected state equal to false, and once I press it, I'm going to go into this neglected if, and I'm going to say connected true. So you're all going to be able to type it again, because obviously this is the first time, and we're going to go work. We're going to be extracting the username, and we're going to be extracting the password, and then we're going to be using these in order for our script, our bot, to begin working. The way you actually extract data from these is that when you write something up, so when I write, let's say, I don't know, lead engineer here, and I can write YouTube here in the password. Once I actually type connect, this username and password is going to be retrieved by the username and the user password, obviously. User input is the thing over here, the user text box, and analogically, user password is going to be set pass text box over here. The way we actually extract data is by saying .get, and then we're actually passing the parameters from where you want to get to the end. This is also going to get you a spacebar, so you're going to have a little bit of a problem when you connect, because it's going to try to connect the first time you enter the username without waiting for the password. You can remove this and it's going to be working properly. Good. Now we need to be performing the connection. This is going to be opening browser, and in performing connection, I'm going to pass a couple of things: the username that we have retrieved from here, the password that we have retrieved from here, the following clicked, which is global and is retrieved from here, and the comment clicked, which is going to be retrieved from here. Now, again, I want to write it, not write it, but start it. Okay, good. So as you can see, 4 pieces of data, and I can take this thing over here, put them with green. These 4 pieces are the same. Username is going to be extracted from here, the password, and then both of these, which are going to come at these spots. Good. The moment I actually clicked something, keep in mind I'm changing this as it is global. The moment I click this here, unfollow, this thing over here, I change the following thing, and when I type connect, the only thing that I need to retrieve now are the 2 fields, the username and the password. And obviously, we're going to open the browser now and start working with the most interesting part from the course. Thank you for watching, and in the next one, we're going to be building the opening browser function. This is going to open the browser, it's going to navigate to the Instagram, it's going to navigate to the entry boxes. We can use our username and password there, and obviously we're going to be starting seeing the magic.